Ant,
Ants,
ant,
ants, ants,
ant, ant,
ants,
ant,
ants,
Ant-Man.
ants, Ant-Man. Hello.
Uh,
Televised, the TV
it's
movie Ant
it's
story. The Ant
it,
movie Ants.
it's so stupid. That's such a stupid way to open the show, but it's funny still.
It's still good. I imagine at this point you will have let in with that actual original clip and then have it bleed into ours.
I,
I
I
would hope because you
I've been
gotta.
I've been debating like whether I want to like play our actual intro and then play the clip or try to like have the original our
Well,
original theme, but then mix in like Michael Douglas saying ants.
well, if you're listening to the podcast now, you will know what she chose. Because Eliza is the one who edits these episodes. So, you just listened to it. Hello, everybody. Televised to the TV movie story. We're talking ants, not the DreamWorks movie, not ants with a Z, ants
It's
with an
actually
X.
called It Happened at Lakewood Manor, but it's sometimes
But it's
also
also called
called
ants
ants.
with an exclamation point.
Sometimes with an exclamation point, sometimes not.
It is ambiguous, but I'm gonna call it ants because it's more fun.
It is
And
more fun to call it ants.
it's a lot like you tell someone, "Oh, I watched this movie. It happened at Lakewood Manor." And then you got to go into more details. You tell someone you watched a movie called Ants exclamation point. That's pretty I mean that's that lays on the line. That's what it is. That's what the movie is. It's ants.
It is, in fact, ants.
I am very curious what you thought of this movie. I had a great time.
So, I don't even really know what I thought of this movie. Like, it's not as bad as I would have wanted it to be, but it's not like I wasn't disappointed while watching it. It's just like I would have wanted it to be sillier, but also it was a good time. Like this is definitely, unfortunately, the best Brian Dennehy movie we've watched so far.
Oh, by far. In more than one way. No, yeah, this is ants. Excuse me. God, please edit around that. Um,
Maybe I
no,
won't.
yeah.
Fuck you.
Oh, fine. Okay. No, this is like not a good, well, it's not a great movie. I don't think we've covered a great movie yet so far. Maybe a hot take. I think we're still waiting for our first great movie on this podcast.
It,
But
I think that just depends on how broad your definition of great is.
yeah, that's the thing.
Like
Like
we've got close.
we've done some very good movies. I'm still waiting to definitively say this is our first great movie. But it's the early days. I have not lost hope. But this movie is like the first half is pretty slow. It takes a while to be what it is, but once it does take off and become what it is, it's not a horror movie. It's billed as a horror movie. This isn't a horror movie. It's a disaster movie. It's like a creature movie, and it is a damn good one of those. It's a really fun version of that. Could have been more fun, could have been more interesting, but I had a good time with especially the second half of the movie.
Yeah, I would say that I had a good time. That's the best way to describe my feelings on this movie. It's just like you like I cannot tell you a character's name, but at the same time, like I would probably say, go ahead, watch this movie. It's a good time.
It's 90 minutes. It's on YouTube. It's you'll laugh. You'll I mean we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the movie as is the point of the podcast. But
Give
uh
us a rundown on it.
yes, so we are talking about Ants or It Happened at Lakewood Manor or there's a third title according to Wikipedia
Yeah,
which is
Panic at Lakewood Manor.
Panic at Lakewood Manor. Yes, correct. So it's one of those. It's the same movie. From 1977, directed by Robert Shearer, written by a guy named Guerdon Trueblood, which is a kick-ass name, who also directed The Savage Bees, which has a very similar poster to this, and Jaws 3D,
Oh
among
yeah.
many others. A lot of TV directing, but a good list of movie directing as well. stars Robert Foxworth, Lynda Day George, Gerald Gordon, Bernie Casey, Barry Van Dyke, Karen Lamm, with a special appearance by Myrna Loy, and
As
with
Ethel.
as Ethel, and with guest stars, which I love the idea of having guest stars in a movie. Like it's very much TV minded. Like, oh well, these are our stars, and these are our guest stars for this week's one-time movie. There's just other actors in the movie: Anita Gillette, Steve Franken, Brian Dennehy, and Suzanne Summers, who is, at least according to IMDb, by the time this movie came out, Three's Company had started and was an instant hit. And so all of the advertising for this movie put Suzanne Summers top billed, even though she's like not really in the movie and dies halfway through. Um, it premiered on December 2nd, 1977 on ABC. On CBS, they were playing The Four Musketeers, Milady's Revenge, from 1974. And on NBC was an episode of The Rockford Files and an episode of Quincy M.E., which is apparently a TV show that ran for like 8 seasons, where Jack Klugman plays a medical examiner who like solves medical crimes. Uh, Also worth noting, this movie had a theatrical release outside of the US. So other
Yes.
countries, for them, this is not a TV movie. This is a regular theatrical movie. But we're Americans, and so it counts. It's a TV movie,
Yeah.
and we're here talking about it.
It's a TV movie, and well, I want to start with this is I want to talk about Brian Dennehy. I want to talk about Brian Dennehy in this movie. He he is given this beautiful opportunity to just absolutely Dennehy it up, like as this fire chief who shows up like 75% into the movie. Like he come like as the ants are swarming Lakewood Manor, he just comes in and he's just this guy, this fucking guy. Imagine being a fire chief. You get a call that says, "Hey, my friends are trapped in a building because of ants. Please help." And it's like, "Huh?" And then you drive over, and sure enough, a bunch of fucking ants are surrounding this fucking hotel. I think it's a hotel. It,
I also I want to see the deep, intense character study about this character where he, as a fire chief, gets called in to start a fire.
yes.
I want to watch the like introspective drama about this character wrestling with his own like internal demons in having to use fire for good and not put it out because like I want to watch that movie. I want to watch that movie about a fireman who has to start a fire.
Yeah.
It kicks ass.
Yeah, because of the fire like contains the ants into the fucking hole it came out of. It's
Exactly.
this and just the further the more Dennehy is on screen, the more he's yelling, the more he's sweating, the more he's it's a beautiful sight.
It
You
is the exact right, not just amount, but role of Dennehy. Four weeks into our Dennehy month, we finally have the right kind of Dennehy. He's not, he is a strong supporting role. He's one of the guest stars of this movie. He's not one of the starring cast. He's like your like S tier man on the ground type, like in Die Hard, Al Powell, or what have you. The like you got your man on the outside and your man on the inside. In a situation like this, he is just great, yelling up at them with the megaphone, um, telling the guys to turn off the helicopter because it's spraying ants into the crowd. Oh, this movie rules. This movie kicks ass. It
Doctor.
doesn't, but it does. And like it is the perfect amount of Brian Dennehy because like it's not like, last week or even kind of in Net Force where like he's not in the movie effectively. And it's not like an unfinished no, not no, the Ultimate Legacy where he's just sort of like there on occasion but not given anything to do, but he's like he pops in every now and then. Like this, you get a good amount of Dennehy, you get a good mode of Dennehy. He's great. I would have liked to see him have a good ant death. Like I feel like that
I
is a character that could have had a good heroic death where he has to like charge into the fire to save like the Van Dyke guy, Dick Van Dyke's son or whatever when he jumps into the scoop. Like I would have liked to see Brian Dennehy get a good heroic death in this movie. But you know,
I
that aside, great Dennehy.
I was hoping for some Dennehy death to the ants, but we didn't get that, unfortunately. Sorry for spoiling it, but also if you're listening, you probably expect us to spoil it. But regardless,
This movie could have used more deaths.
it that's really the main problem. It is very much a made-for-TV horror type movie, and it doesn't really get the chance to like glorify the deaths. It doesn't get the chance to just revel in them.
There's there's six, I think. There's the
Deaths?
yeah, there's the two construction workers at the beginning that get buried alive. And like one of them dies later in the hospital, but those both die. The kid doesn't die. They mention specifically that the kid doesn't die. He's
I
just
I was so fucking pissed off that kid
yeah.
didn't die. I
It
wanted blood.
yeah. But then the chef dies.
Yes.
The asshole health inspector dies.
Yes.
Suzanne Summers dies.
Rip. Rest in
And
peace.
then the her boyfriend, the rich guy at the end,
Yeah.
in the best death of the movie by far. We'll talk about it in a bit. I
We
don't
we
think
we
anybody else dies though.
we need to cherish that
Yeah.
scene, but we yes, he
I
does
mean,
that.
six isn't nothing, and but it's a lot of them are anticlimactic. I think the Suzanne Summers one is good. I think the guy at the end is good. I think the health inspector is fine, but it happens too fast. We'll talk about the chef as well. And then the first two just like get dirt dumped on him like 5 minutes into the movie, so that barely counts. But
Like
no,
you just see a helmet in the dirt and it's like,
yeah,
whoa.
I could have used Myrna Loy having a good they tease it. They're about to do it, and it would have I wish, but no.
Oh, that
Um
she was so close to falling out of that helicopter.
and then so okay, what is the Barry Van Dyke? I keep wanting to say Jerry Van Dyke, but that's somebody else. Uh but no, Barry Van Dyke, like, well, okay, we'll talk. We'll get to all of these set pieces later. But I mean, the movie opens. I guess to set the stage, they're like building a new hotel on this land or something, and that's what cracks open the like groundwater pipe that all of these like super poison ants have been living in, and that's what starts it off. I have a little gripe about the setup here, though, about the first deaths.
Go ahead, please, gripe.
So there's a pit in the middle of this construction site that has a sign that says "Danger, keep out." And the movie opens. One of the construction workers hears one of the other construction workers calling for help down in the pit, and he goes to go after him. And the guy down in the pit is being bitten by all these ants, and then they get a bunch of dirt poured on them, and they die. And then later, once everyone realizes, oh, these two guys are buried alive. Which first off, the main guy and the other construction worker are talking about like we haven't seen these two guys yet today, and then they just sort of look at the pit and immediately like, oh fuck, they're buried alive in the pit. We're not supposed to go in, which in and of itself is pretty hilarious. But they run in and they dig them out. One of them's dead right away. The other one dies in the hospital. Let me find in my notes. Okay, so then we have a big dramatic scene of the two main construction workers, where essentially they're back and forth like, yeah, but why were they down there? They must have had a reason. But what? And the implication for us, the audience, is, oh, they were down there because of the ants. The reality is, one of the guys was down there because he heard the other guy calling for help. Why was the first guy down there?
I
What was he doing down there in the pit of evil ants where you're not supposed to go?
no clue. He was just fucking around.
Why were you down there, guy? Show
Uh,
it like put 2 minutes at the beginning of this movie where he like drops his watch in and like sneaks past the sign to get his watch. Like, give us some inciting incident where, oh, it's this idiot who like ignored the signs at work and that's why all of this happened. Like, it's an easy fix. And it starts a little too late for us to know, like, why is this guy down there? What are you doing in the hole, man?
Yeah, like those, the thing with those two construction workers that we follow is that it feels very much like the John Mulaney bit where it's like Ice-T explains things to the audience.
Yeah.
And it's like what if it can attack us? What if it can attack everybody? And it's like the ants are biting me. They really hurt. And then it's just dramatic zoom on the other construction worker's face to let you know that this is serious and that the ants are fucking evil.
Yeah. I have a question for you here.
Go ahead.
What are some animals that you're afraid of?
I mean, I'm not really afraid of anything anymore, although I was afraid of like snakes and stuff as a kid.
Fair. Yeah.
Birds also.
My big one is the like what's that one bird with the huge bill? The like
Like
the
pelican?
no, the like weird blue one. Uh,
Weird blue one.
okay, I'm gonna look this up because it like it is legitimately freaky
Like
looking.
a
Blue,
hornbill or something like that?
maybe big. What is that called? Shoebill.
Shoebill.
Look those up. Those things are freaky. Those they have freaky eyes and very big bills, and they like
Okay.
yeah. These things freak me out. You
Yeah.
know what's not scary? Ants.
Ants.
Ants aren't scary. Which again, I think part of what made me enjoy this movie so much by the end is when I like just sort of accepted that this wasn't a horror movie, and that sort of like let me see it more as a environmental disaster, like a towering inferno type thing, where like here's this naturally occurring kind of, but not really situation where we have to get out, much more so than like the ants are evil and they're gonna kill all the humans. But like, no, ants aren't scary. Ants are fun. Ants are cool.
The thing about this is that like when I was like trying to hypothesize like why the ants were attacking, I had so many different ideas. And I was just left so disappointed when it was just a fucking environmental allegory. It's like, oh, it's the poisons that. And first of all, the fucking poison scene, like where it's the fucking science guy talking to whoever that fucking woman is. I don't really know. Is that like his assistant or something?
She's there. She's someone in
She,
the movie. Oh, wait,
um,
is that the woman whose kid? No, that's a different lady.
yeah.
It is hard to tell some of these people apart.
There's I got Suzanne Summers and
Lynda Day George. Yeah.
yeah.
No, there was a point where I thought, those were the same character. And then I'm like, oh, no, those are just two different blonde women.
Yeah. Anyway, so this fucking scene where it's the guy is like talking about the poisons, it's like that infected the fucking ants so that now they use the poison against us. And he says shit like back in the old day, arsenic was a good poison. It was simple, it was easy. But poisons today are so complicated they could turn on us. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What does
Yeah,
that
it's
mean?
it's nothing. It's nothing. Although I will say the movie does win me back over a little bit with its like is hand wavy science stuff. Uh, Specifically when he shows the video and is talking about how like how ants as not a hive mind, but the sort of like the way they let off pheromones when they're in a large enough group to be like, okay, we have enough numbers to overpower, say, a yellow jacket or a grasshopper or something much bigger than us. Like that is a good way to explain away the when the health inspector puts a couple ants in his hand and they don't attack him versus the people that get killed from like it is a good way to be like, okay, well, this is why just coming into contact with ant is not enough to kill you. Like they are working as a collective, which it does a good job of building tension to that degree. I will say, watching this movie, at a certain point, I was becoming very hyper aware of every little itch on my body and every little just like my hair brushing against my shoulder or like rustling in my bed and like my blanket shifted weird against my foot. Like there were a lot of points where I was like, "Oh fuck, I hope that's not an ant on me." So
They're
like it
coming
did
to
a good
get
job of
you,
that.
Gordon.
It did at the very least do a good job of getting under my skin, no pun intended, with like making that sensory experience come through the screen and unnerve me. So at least it did that. At least it like, you know, ants aren't scary. A bunch of ants on a wall isn't scary, but the part at the end where they have to not move and there's just a bunch of ants just crawling on them and they have to be very still. I don't like that.
That
That's not fun to imagine.
that
Imagine having like 70 ants on your feet and you have to stay completely still or you'll die. I don't like that at all.
it's I guess we can understand why the one guy just fucking jumped.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's not the most exciting set piece to end your movie, having your main characters sit completely still in a room and breathe through tubes made
Wallpaper.
of wallpaper.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's fine.
It I I like the idea, but I think it was just executed in a very silly way
Yeah,
because I just do not fucking believe that uh like the guy, the fucking science guy who I fucking hate, want him to die. He's they have a phone call of him and the Mike, I think his name is, because he has
sounds right.
MC on his helmet the whole time.
Sure.
Mike. Um.
I
He
think the
says
MC stands for main construction guy.
main character.
Exactly.
He says ants are basically non-aggressive, so if you don't move, and then the call cuts off from our perspective. If Ed's so it's like, don't you fucking try to tell me that the ants are like fucking Jurassic Park dinosaurs, where if you just don't move, they won't know you're there. And it's but
I
it,
think it's more that like it's not that they won't know you're there, it's
it's
that they
yeah,
won't attack unprovoked.
exactly. It's like they
But it's
won't.
still it's stupid.
It's completely stupid. Because just considering like everything else we've seen so far, and it's just like it's the dumbest fucking thing. And it's like they
There's
could
a
have.
lot of dumb stuff in this movie, yeah.
I think this is peak dumb. Everything with this fucking science guy trying to explain because he has so many scenes, and every scene with him is just fucking bullshit. Just science mumbo jumbo trying to explain away the ants when we don't need to know why the ants are doing it. Just
Yeah.
let the ants do their thing and we can worry about dying to them or stopping them.
You know who's the dumbest character in this movie though?
Who's the dumbest character in this movie, though?
It's the fucking chef. That chef who is so oblivious to all the ants in his kitchen. Uh who like the what ends up happening is he, like many people, gets bitten by ants on his ankles and keels over and dies in his kitchen. You know why he was able to get bit on his ankle by ants?
Of the fucking
Because he's
train.
he's no, because he's wearing open-toed sandals in the kitchen where he is the head chef at this establishment. Open-toed, that guy deserves to die. Disgusting.
I did write down, wow, this kitchen's not sanitary. There's ants everywhere.
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay. I'll bring this up later, but I did make a top 10 ant lines in this movie.
Oh, I'm so excited.
The top 10 lines of dialogue where someone says the word ant. Because there's some great ones. There's some really fucking good ones.
We'll save that
Um,
for the end.
we'll
I'm
save it
so,
for the end,
but,
yes.
but
But
I'm
there's
so excited.
a lot of them are centralized around that kitchen, and some scenes around there. I like how every time it cuts to just a swarm of ants somewhere, especially in the first half, they play like alien music, like the ooh,
Yeah,
like these are alien ants. No, they're not. They're just immune to insecticides now. Um, yeah, a lot of stuff in the first half doesn't matter. The kid, he ends up like so there's a wild through line that this kid's dad walked out on them, and so he is out collecting empty bottles so that he can take them home when they leave Lakewood Manor and turn them into recycling for money so that he can support his mom now that he's the man of that. This kid is like 10. And he's like out here like, oh, gee, now that dad's gone, I'm the man of the house. I'm going to collect bottles for recycling so I can bring home the bacon and pay for, all of our bills. And so he's out dumpster diving and falls in and gets covered in ants. And I thought he was going to die, but he doesn't. He just runs and screams and jumps in the pool, and main character gets him and pulls him out of the water. And then there's like several lines of dialogue about how like, and the ants killed two of my men and hurt that kid. And that it really wants you to know the child is not dead. The child, by the way, that actor is named Moosie Dryer, Moosie Moosie, and that's not a nickname. That is his given name,
fun.
Moosie, Moosie Dryer. There you go,
Moosey dryer.
Moosie Dryer.
Moosey Bobo dryer.
Exactly. Also in this movie that wasn't in the main cast or guest stars, Stacy Keach Sr. plays the doctor.
Don't know who
Uh,
that is.
no, but you know Stacy Keach.
I know of the name.
It's his dad.
W-
Uh,
Oh,
as
okay.
there you go. Stacy
Sure.
Keach is like in the same sort of like class of actors as Brian Dennehy or Charles Durning. Like he's one of those just like sturdy older character actors with an interesting face. He's the head neo-Nazi in American History X. He's the main guy in Fat City. He does a lot of theater. He's like a big Broadway actor, I think.
Okay,
Um,
I see his face.
you've seen him around in a bunch of stuff, even if you don't know who he is by name. Like
I
he's one of those guys that pops up a ton.
try to think where I most know him from, but I'm not
He's
entirely.
in Nebraska. He's the guy back home that is like super antagonistic to Bruce Dern and is like the one that tells him like, that's a fake like scam, right? That's not really $1 million or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know why that's one of my go-to Stacy. I haven't seen Nebraska in a long time, but I think that's one of the first things that I noticed. Hey, who's this guy?
He's in
Uh,
Gotti.
so he is. But he's not in
And
this movie, notably.
and he in 2013 he has a movie with no information that's called Ooga Booga.
Love that. Um, where are we? Moosey Dryer does not die.
Unfortunately.
The chef, open-toed sandals. Oh, after the
Lucy
chef
Dyer doesn't
dies,
die.
yes. After the chef dies, there's a close-up on his foot covered in ants, and then it just sort of like grid pattern, like little squares of the screen are like it like transitions into a shot just of the sink drain again, still with ants in it, and it's a really weird transition.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, the scientist, we're the ones who forced them to live in a toxic world. Why should we be surprised if they found a way to use it? That's stupid. Um,
One
uh,
one thing about this movie, horny. Like
yeah,
we start this movie with three groups of people all boning, and then you just have fucking of course the special appearance by Myrna Loy as Ethel, and she's just fucking rolling around in her wheelchair, just like
yeah. So
being
it's main
old.
character and other blonde lady. Main character is the head construction worker on the site. Other blonde lady owns Lakewood Manor. No, Myrna
E-
Loy owns Lakewood
Myrna
Manor.
Loy, she's Myrna Loy's daughter.
Is she? There you go. That makes sense. And then you have rich guy asshole who
Eh,
wants to buy Lakewood Manor, and his girlfriend slash co-worker, Suzanne Summers, who like makes a point early on that like she bought two different hotel rooms for this trip because she doesn't want to mix business and pleasure, but they end up staying in the same hotel room anyway.
Which,
Um,
which I have no idea, like what their whole deal is. Like you say they're trying to buy Liquid Manor, but why? And it's like, then why are they like,
wait, is she also Myrna Loy's daughter? Because they're like that's the whole
no?
thing. Is she like there's a scene with the rich guy and Myrna Loy where he's like, I was, we were waiting to a good time for a good time to introduce me to you, my future. Wait,
What?
right? No,
I
Myrna
I
Loy is Ethel Adams. Lynda Day George is Valerie Adams. Suzanne Summers is okay. Gloria Henderson. Never mind. So then, what was that about?
no clue. Uh, but like I just
Oh, there's
have.
also stuff about like they're turning Lakewood Manor into a casino, I think.
Oh, boo!
Uh,
Fuck off. That's stupid.
yeah. Okay,
Uh,
the unscrupulous real estate magnate Anthony Fleming and his partner and mistress Gloria arrive at the hotel, there to haggle with the elderly proprietor Ethel Adams and her daughter Valerie as they pursue plans to convert Lakewood into a casino.
stupid. Like, like. I briefly mentioned this to you, but Lakewood Manor reminds me a lot of The Ultimate Legacy in the fucking Anderson house. And I'm just thinking, Ethel Adams seems exactly like the type of person to do like a fucking ultimate gift type thing. Like, and it's just like I want to see that movie where she she dies, does the ultimate gift, but halfway through the fucking ants come attack the place, and it's like the fucking whether it's Valerie or whoever or the fucking kid, and it's like they have to like both do the fucking gift stuff, but then also try and fight the ants.
They have to please the ants' sense of morality, teach the ants that they're good people and deserve to live. Uh,
It's and then it's like at the end of the movie, it turns out it was all part of the fucking plan. It's the 13th gift of ants.
the gift of ants. Congratulations, your inheritance is all these fucking ants. They will do your bidding now. You own 10 million ants.
Uh, that should have been that should have been plot of Ant-Man 3 instead of what we got.
Exactly. Apparently that guy that we've been saying is, or that I've been saying is the health inspector, is just Myrna Loy and her daughter's assistant at the hotel. So
Yeah,
there you
I
go.
did not really know who you meant when you said health inspector.
Because he's
I
putting up a
was
sign and he's like checking the kitchen, so I just sort of assumed like, oh, that's probably what he does, but I guess not. I'm wrong. The other couple, by the way, is Barry Van Dyke, who works at the hotel, I guess, as you can tell by his t-shirt that says Lakewood Manor, which I want.
I love this fucking shirt.
Yeah, this guy
It's
rules. MVP of the movie. MVP of the fucking movie, Richard, honestly.
he, like when I saw him walk on screen, and it's just like, oh, I don't remember a thing about him. I don't remember his name, but I remember his fucking shirt, that generic ass font, Lakewood in a fucking rainbow type thing, and a manor across the bottom. It's like I kind of want that shirt.
I wanted to. And then his Wikipedia says girlfriend, but they meet at the beginning of the movie. She just shows up and is like, "Hey, who are you? Can I stay here? Do you have showers at this hotel? I need to shower." And then by the end of the movie, they end up together because very few of your main characters die. There's like two or three different fake outs with Richard, like in a row,
Mhm.
that are as much as he's the best character of this movie, he also should have died. That's a character that you can kill off.
Yeah, like the fucking. Okay, we need to talk about the fucking
We'll
fake
get
out.
there. We'll,
Please,
we'll
okay, we'll
because
get there. We'll
we
get
gotta
there.
get. I mean, we're going somewhat chronologically, kind of. So at this point, there's several scenes happening around here. This is where Suzanne Summers dies. I think at some point she's just in her hotel bed and the ants are on her and she wakes up and this is the poster of the movie. If you look it
Yes.
up, it's the naked lady with ants all over her, that are like covering her in a provocative but still, covering but still provocative
Yeah.
type of way. And then she just dies, and they just leave her body there, naked on the floor, covered in ants, to the point that when the rescuers come in later in their hazmat suits, they just see her there and leave and go. They just leave her in this building they're about to burn down. They're just like, ah, whatever. We can just leave her here. Uh, but at this
Yeah.
point, there have been many scenes of people talking, interspersed with Mike in his big digger machine, just like I mean, he's digging a moat, but you don't know that at first that he's digging this like trench around the building. So it's just every so often cutting back to him just like angrily driving back and forth in this big construction machine, and then cuts away to people talking, and then 5 minutes later cuts back to Mike and his digger just like driving around really loud. And it's great.
It
But so they make this trench that they're originally going to fill with water to keep the ants out. But then Science Man is like, oh, actually, ants can build bridges and get across water. You need to
fuck
make
you,
it fire.
fuck you, dude.
I mean, it does set up some great stuff with the fire, but like,
Like I do like the fire, but it's just I don't need his stupid fucking explanations. I want him dead. I want
yeah.
that character dead.
Speaking of characters you want dead, at this point, the ants are now crawling up to the building. They're all over everything. There's just like swarms and swarms of like little black dots moving all over.
Which
Uh,
want to say kind of cool shots. Like we
yeah,
do get a like one of the best parts of this movie is all the cool like ant shots where it's like they
yeah.
got this just big black masses that
There's
represent.
some legitimately really good ant photography in this movie. It's kind of reminiscent of the shots in The Birds where you just have birds sitting placidly on telephone wires and everything, and it's like, oh, this is a swarm of menacing animals that are not doing anything, and like it's more menacing that they're not just attacking randomly. It like is unnerving that they seem to have a collective plan. Like that they are swarming the building because they know there are people inside the building is pretty effective. And also, I have to assume, based on how much these look like ants, that they just used real ants, that these aren't like, puppets or whatever. I did not stick around in the credits to look for a certainly not there, no animals were harmed in the making of this movie. I want to know what the body count of this production is vis-a-vis ants. How many fucking ants did they kill for real making this movie? Because it's probably a lot.
I mean, I I I don't even know. Like on the one hand, it's like I don't know how you would fake ants for this,
Yeah.
but also like I don't think you would want to put a bunch of ants on people.
Yeah. I don't know. It's especially for some of the close-up shots where it's like these are definitively, definitely ants on these people. But so the ants are surrounding the building, and the asshole assistant is like, "Oh, I'm just gonna leave," because he doesn't believe it's ants. He is convinced that it's just like groundwater poison from the drain of the kitchen. And so he steps outside and tries to walk down the stairs, but the handrail is covered with ants. And the like there's some bit earlier where the other construction guy gets bit and like only bit by a few ants, and so it like paralyzes his legs for a bit, but he's fine. And so that's what happens here. His hand gets like frozen up and he falls back on the other handrail, and that handrail has ants. And so then he gets bit more, and then he just sort of like tumbles down the stairs and falls on the ground and is dead. And it's stupid, but whatever.
It's very funny. I
Yeah.
I'm always a sucker for when people fall downstairs.
There's some real good falls in this movie. There's
Yes, there are.
that is like that is the third best fall in this movie of falls. But so then we have our seven main characters stuck in this building. Our three couples and Myrna Loy, who is in a wheelchair. I don't know if we mentioned that, but she's I know you did mention that.
Yeah. Seven
But
main characters?
yeah, the three couples
Well,
and Myrna
Suzanne
Loy.
Summers is dead already.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Forgot about that. I was just sort of assuming, yeah, that's probably right. But no, I was wrong. So six of your seven because Suzanne Summers is dead. You're right. Also around this time, Brian Dennehy is here, who, we've been debating how we're referring to this April of Brian Dennehy. I have it written down as Apron Dennehy.
What?
Apron Dennehy.
I'm that is a beautiful work of portmanteau
That's
ink.
what I'm calling it from now on. That's what I'm calling
But
this month. I've decided that is my official name for it. It's Apron Dennehy.
I'm sticking with Brayple Dennehy. I'm going down with this ship.
As is your right. So we're in the building. We're in Lakewood Manor. Ants are getting in. So they just keep going up to higher stories of the building. Um, and Richard, MVP of the movie, uh, just like has a tank of kerosene that he's just pouring on these swarms of ants, which I loved. I love that he just has this big old tank of kerosene that he's just sort of like tossing around. It's great. And that is when I like went to check in my notes who is this guy. I clicked on his Wikipedia page. He's Dick Van Dyke's son, and played Dick Van Dyke's son on the TV show Diagnosis Murder, uh,
Nice.
where where Dick Van Dyke plays, I think, also a medical examiner of some sort, and his son plays a homicide detective. It ran for like 5 seasons. It's a spin-off of the TV show Jake and the Fat Man, uh, because like they Dick Van Dyke's character originated on that TV show, and Diagnosis Murder has 5 TV movies. So
Yes.
we at some point, I'm sure, will be talking once again about Barry Van Dyke in one or more of those. We should do a whole month of the Diagnosis Murder TV movies.
I think that's a bit excessive. I think we should keep variety and not spend a whole month on just this one franchise.
I disagree, but we'll talk about that later.
It's definitely not going to happen for a long while, regardless.
Yes, I'm not saying we should do it like next month or whatever, but maybe someday,
We already
sometime.
have plans for next
We
month.
do. Yes, we have plans for most of the year, honestly, actually,
Yeah,
kind
like
of. Not
all
really, but like kind of.
we have things written out.
Yes. So anyway, at this point, they're digging the trench. They're pouring kerosene and gasoline in the trench. There's a huge crowd of just like people that are just like coming around to look at the events. I don't know who those people are, but they're
They're
there.
just tourists who were like, I think there's like a
Oh, are those the people
playground.
that got kicked? Those might have been some people that got kicked out of the hotel
True,
for
true,
the
true,
sake
true, true.
of ants.
I also thought there was like a playground or park or something nearby as well, and they were just like,
Probably.
mommy, let's go look at the killer ants."
Yeah, it's something like that. But so we have the fire department here. Dennehy is here. There's a helicopter. There's a fire truck with a ladder that they stick out, and they get one person out with that ladder. In, again, a sequence that I thought was going to have a fall and doesn't have a fall because they get um, the shower lady, Richard's girlfriend,
Yes.
and she like falters a little bit and is like dangling by one hand with the guy that is on the end of the ladder. And so the plan is to raise the ladder up so that it's standing straight up vertically, which doesn't seem like a great plan because if she lets go, that's a much higher height to fall down from. I don't know if I would be on board with that if I
Yeah.
was dangling from a fireman's ladder. If they're just like, okay, make it like a lot higher.
It's like it's on the one hand, it's like yeah, you're making it a lot higher, but also you are making it easier to hold on to by making it a vertical ladder.
Yeah, but like you could also just retract the ladder.
I I don't know. I don't know how
I don't
fire
know how I
ladders
don't know.
work.
Yeah, I don't know how fire trucks work. But so that happens, and then the truck leaves. Because they got one, because the ants started getting into that room that they were in, and they couldn't wait around long enough. So then when does the helicopter stuff happen?
It's right after that. Like
Okay, yes. So the helicopter again. gets one person. They lower like a metal crib so that they can put Myrna Loy in because she's again wheelchair bound. And this is again almost a fall twice.
Yes.
Uh,
Can I say what happens?
yes, please go right ahead.
So when they get when they put Morloy into the basket or whatever, it like I believe it gets stuck on like the railing or something, and
Yeah,
it's like
like
it
a little corner of the scaffolding.
yeah, and it's like the helicopter is trying to pull her away, but it's like she can't go, and then Richard, is that his name? Uh,
Yes.
he is standing there to grab it, and I think Myrna Loy is about to fall. Oh, but no, she does not. Instead, Richard like just leaps
Just like
out
yeah,
the balcony.
as I put it in my notes, chucked himself off the balcony. It is not a fall. He's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for a jump.
There is no visual explanation to or why he falls. Also, but I imagine what they wanted us to think was like he's holding on to the thing and it pulls away with him, and he like goes unexpectedly, and then he was thinking he's going to fucking die, but no, he gets caught by the fucking bulldozer that's there, or I think it's a
Well, not
bulldozer.
not first. At first, he lands on like the like the what do you call those things? The like veranda,
The awning,
the awning. Yes. And then he just sort of like shimmies over to the corner and jumps into the pusher, whatever that
yeah,
big the big construction machine with the scoop. I think it's just called a scoop, actually. And he
and
jumps into the scoop and is fine.
And this leads to the funniest moment of the movie for me,
Hell yeah.
where it starts with a guy gets saved by the construction equipment. There's that cuts to the crowd and they all cheer.
The
And
crowd
then
goes wild.
and then the fucking helicopter gets too close to the ground. Ants fly everywhere.
It blows an ant storm onto the crowd of onlookers
And they all scream in horror, of course. And
and
it's like
start smacking the ants on their body because,
it,
now you have like again, as the movie has established, a few ants is going to hurt, but it's not going to kill you. Uh, but yeah, it just causes this movie has an ant storm. Are you kidding
it's
me? Hell
it's
yeah.
so fucking funny. And then, of course, like the fucking firefighters turned their fire hose onto the crowd.
No, no, not the firefighter. It is Bernie Casey, the other
Oh,
construction
yeah, it's
worker.
a construction
He's
worker.
yeah.
He,
He saves the day. He full on saves the day of these onlookers. Good for him.
but
Glad they
also
gave that
like,
character something to do other than get bitten.
but also it's like, don't fucking turn a fire hose on people. That is
No,
not going to
yeah.
help anybody.
Yeah. Especially because we've established the ants don't care about water.
Exactly.
But
Well,
apparently it does
they
work. Well, if
they
they can cross water, I imagine getting blasted with a
if
fire
they are
hose
submerged
is
in
gonna
water,
do
it's
a good
bad,
job.
but they can
Yeah.
cross water. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Again,
Uh,
stupid, but
Yes. So now we have our trench full of kerosene, and Brian Dennehy drops a stick of dynamite in it, or as I call it, dynamite.
I think it's a flare.
Okay, well, I wanted to say dynamite because it's Dennehy dynamite, so it's dynamite.
I know you wanted to,
Yeah,
but I
but I
need to tell you that facts exist.
yeah, but I wanted to say it though.
Facts don't care about Brian Dennehy, unfortunately.
Oh no, oh no. Um, so then, yeah, they're all just still in the building, and there's ants everywhere. And then we talked about this, where they're just like sitting there not moving because of the ants. Uh, there's a good like bad edit here that I thought was very funny. So Valerie is the daughter's name, the other blonde lady who's still
Yes.
alive at this point. And they're all sitting around. And she has said, the ants are on my foot. And main character is like, no, it's okay. You gotta not move. And we got a shot of her foot with ants on it. And then she said that, and then he said that. And then we get another shot of her legs with ants on them. We know they're her legs. She's wearing heels, her legs are shaved, she's wearing a skirt. We get this shot of her legs with ants on them. And then we cut to the asshole real estate development and goes, they're on my foot. And it just for like half a second there, it seems like he's just also wearing high heels and a skirt and his legs are and those are his legs actually. But no. And then The second best part of the movie after Antstorm. Okay, what's this guy's name? What's his fucking name?
Mike.
No, the
Oh,
the
the guy
Anthony
who.
Fleming. Anthony
Yes.
Fleming is the character's name. He gets so fed up, even though the hazmat suits have finally arrived and people are coming in with insecticides to momentarily stop the ants so that they can get out. He goes stir crazy because of all the ants on him, and he gets up.
Fair.
Yeah, no, like legitimately, like I would not be able to survive. What do they say? Like 40 minutes in complete stillness with ants, like enough ants to entirely cover his hand. His hand in that shot is like basically like completely swarmed, surrounded by ants. So he loses it. He gets up, starts swatting at himself, runs to the window, looks down, sees the pool. Everyone sees him at the window and is like, "Oh, this guy, he's gonna jump!" And he jumps, and people are like, they gasp and they cry out, and then we cut to him on the ground, like a good 5 or 6 feet from the pool. He wasn't even close. It's
Uh,
just it's like it's full on that other guy's gag where they aim for the bushes and they just splat on the concrete like that.
yeah.
Like he's just he's like between a few deck chairs on like a deck that is not the immediate one next to the edge of the he like is it's so funny how not close to the pool he is. It's so good.
It's a beautiful, beautiful
Beautiful.
scene.
Especially
Uh,
because this guy's been such an asshole the whole movie. He like tries to get on the fire ladder first and has to be talked down to be like, hey, ladies first. Let her go. Don't like you're an asshole, man. So he gets a good comeuppance death like that.
mhm.
But then the hazmat people come in with their insecticide blown right in the faces of these two people who are inhaling strictly through their mouths, through long tubes, just like taking in lungs full of insecticide, which I'm sure is fine. It's 1977.
Definitely fine.
Yeah. Um, and then the movie just ends. Everyone that is alive is fine on the ground. Myrna Loy says she may learn to fly a helicopter, which is cute.
And she
Uh,
wants the two people to get married.
Yeah, she is, now accepting that my daughter can marry a construction worker. That's okay.
And although we skipped over maybe my favorite line reading or just little moment of the movie, which is when they're like in the fucking room, they're covered with ants, and she's like, and she's like freaking out about all the ants, and Mike is just like, "Don't move." Breathe through the tube and slowly lifts the tube to his mouth and starts
Breathe
breathing through it.
through the tube.
And it
It's good.
it it's incredibly silly, especially if you see that clip out of context.
Yeah. Speaking of great line readings,
Is it time for the top 10?
it's time for the top 10 ant lines, which I don't know if you are going to want to go back in editing and find all of these to put them in or not. I did write them all down, obviously, as is the case of writing a list, but we have an honorable mention first off because I wrote down 11. So the 11th one, we've got to contain the ants. There's no other way.
We've got to contain the ants. There's no other way.
Which is fine, but there's a reason it's an honorable mention.
Mhm.
Number 10, the ants are climbing fast. Call the police, the fire department, anybody.
Ants are climbing fast. Call the police, the fire department, everybody. We need as much help as we can get.
Number 9 is an exchange back and forth between the woman that goes to the scientist and Brian Dennehy. Ants can get across water, you know. Our reports are of ants. Look, I've just been talking on my car phone. We've got to fill that trench with gas or kerosene and set fire to it to contain those ants. Our reports are of ants that poison people. Is that right?
Ants can get across water, you know.
Our reports are of ants.
Look, I've just been talking on my car phone. We've got to fill that trench with gas or kerosene and set fire to it to contain those ants.
Our reports are of ants that poison people. Is that right?
That's the, like
Oh, Brian Dennehy, he's so great.
so great. I love that even though after he has just been told by this lady, we have to contain the ants with fire, he's still like, am I right in hearing that we've been told that there are ants that poison people?
Yeah, like he is so befuddled by the situation, which is great.
He is. Okay. I have number 8.
Okay.
And these ants are supposed to have caused what happened? It's a ridiculous theory, Mr. Carr. It's not ants.
And these ants are supposed to have caused what happened. It's a ridiculous theory, Mr. Carr. It's not ants.
From the assistant, who is very adamant that it's not ants.
Not ants.
And then he obviously later gets killed by ants. Most of the rest of these lines here on this list are from the scene between Mike character and the not health inspector.
Mike character.
Yeah, that's his name now. His name is Mike character. Most of the scenes here are most of the lines here are from the scenes of them talking about whether or not it is ants. So number 7. And over the years, this ant army grew to enormous size.
And over the years, this ant army grew to enormous size.
It did. The ant army grew to enormous size. Number 6. Short and sweet from the asshole assistant. Find me an ant.
Find me an ant.
Leading him into the kitchen, where there's supposedly been an ant-related murder. Find me an ant. Number 5, and this is innovative. The funny, weird thing about this line is not the usage of ant. This is from the scientist.
Okay.
In Africa, there's a poisonous species of ant.
In Africa, there's a poisonous species of ant.
A singular species. That's not what the singular of species is species. But in Africa, there's a poisonous species of ant.
The fucking scientist guy. I hate him. I've repeated that so many times, but
Yes.
I despise him.
Okay, so these top 4. I mean, in Africa, there's a poisonous species of ant is good, but these top 4 are what justify this list existing to me.
All right, let's hear him.
Number 4. This is when they are in the room right after the lady has gotten on the ladder. This is from Real Estate Guy. The ants are coming into the hole.
The ants are coming into the hole.
It's funny because he said coming and hole.
Yes, it is. But that's why it's number 4 on the list. Because,
Okay.
the other 3 are much better. So this is a exchange. First line is from the daughter, Valerie, I think is her name. Second line is from the assistant. Third line is from Mike character. Talking about how, again, he thinks it was ants that killed the cook in the kitchen. But we've always had ants. Of course, everybody does. Ants are ants. Not these ants.
But we've always had ants.
Of course, everybody does. Ants are ants.
Not these ants.
Ants are ants, not these ants.
Which when I started this, I was just writing down funny ant lines, and then I decided, no, I'm going to make this a list. So I went back to rewatch that scene to get it again. I originally had just written ants are ants because that's funny, but the exchange of ants are ants, not these ants, is very good.
Very, very good. The cola is very, very good today.
Okay, okay. We'll introduce that segment in a bit here. I think that can be our bad version. Ants are ants, not these ants.
Not these ants.
Yeah, that's it. It's just not these ants. Okay, number 2, and this is maybe a controversial pick that it's not number 1. Mike character standing at the top of a flight of stairs, pouring kerosene down the stairs, and his kerosene can runs out. And in frustration, he chucks the can of kerosene down the stairs and says, "Ants."
Ants?
that should have been number one. But I do. Number one
Let's hear
is
it.
it is again from the scene where Mike character is telling the guy that that it was ants. He thinks it was ants that killed the cook and killed actually to this point nobody else, but caused the other things that happened. And he has his jar with like 4 ants and some rocks in it. And he's trying to convince him it was ants. And he says, ants. Little damn ants, buddy.
Ants, little damn ants, buddy.
Little damn ants, buddy.
It's so I wrote down that line, and from there I was like, oh, I can't just say this is a funny line in this movie. I need to craft a whole segment leading up to ants, little damn ants, buddy. Because it's too good.
Oh man, that was a very good list. I'm very, very thankful for you, Gordon.
Thank you. Speaking of things we're thankful of, again, to segue into another segment. This is something that I talked to you about some like within the past week as a possible recurring segment on this show because we've done some good movies and we've done some bad movies, and it's nice to have a little bit of yin yang where we find the good and the bad within those movies. So we naturally came to the title just now of what the worst part segment is, which is not these ants.
Not these ants.
But the segment for our favorite part in a movie comes from the Langoliers. Can you get the quote exactly for us?
Gentlemen, the cola is very, very good today.
Gentlemen, the cola is very, very good today.
Okay. So what is your very, very good cola in today's movie?
I thought long and hard about this, and by that I mean I did just forget about it until right now.
So did I. Don't worry.
But I believe my answer genuinely has to be Brian Dennehy. He comes in at the end of the movie and brings so much life into this, and I am so grateful he's here.
Yeah. No, he is. It is nice to be vindicated in Dennehy month here by having some real good meat and potatoes Dennehy in your movie. But I think my very, very good cola, I mean, it's Antstorm. It's got to be Antstorm. Antstorm's great. It's my favorite character.
The Antstorm is very, very good today.
The Antstorm is very, very good today. It's got to be. It's got to be Antstorm. Although, shout out to the way Richard pours the kerosene just throughout the building. He is ready to burn this place to the ground. Richard rules.
But what's your not these ants moment?
Not these ants.
My not these ants. I think. Actually, give me a second here. I think my not these ants is that neither Myrna Loy nor Richard die. You get 2 fake outs right in a row of them about to die and not dying. I think sort of in general, the fact that there aren't more exciting deaths, but I think that is the emblematic moment for me where like you have like 6 characters at the end that are in the building and 5 of them survive. I think you could kill off 1 or 2 more of that sort of central core cast, and it would have made it would have raised the stakes a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And so that to me is my not these ants.
I'm surprised that we were like so close on this. Like just because like I feel like from you out there listening to this episode, you might expect me to say the scientist guy, but at least he does provide some funny moments. I am just mainly mad about, like you were saying, the lack of interesting deaths, though specifically I want that kid to fucking die.
I almost said that one, but it felt a little mean for my first not these ants to be that a kid doesn't die.
I am very much pro kids dying in horror movies because it happens so rarely because nobody has the balls. And it's just like we need child death in movies.
We've only
Like
had one so far, right? On this podcast?
only one what?
Child death?
I
Because
don't know.
we have the kid from the Langoliers, who
Yes,
who
Dinah.
Dinah does eventually die. Very pointedly, the two kids from When a Stranger Calls Back are never found, but we don't know for sure that they're dead.
Yes. Yeah, and the girl from Dark Knight's Scarecrow survives.
Yes, I don't think there's any other child deaths.
I mean, I'm trying to think like in Net Force there might be a background death, but that could have evolved a child,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
like during the blackouts, there could have been like, oh, a reference to like, because like someone dies on the surgical table and all this stuff, but I don't think like
Although prototype, technically, but he is played by a human man, so
adult.
it's
I think children are human. I just
I mean I David is very
adult man.
childlike.
He's played by an adult. Yeah, there's no dead kids in Babes in Toyland or
And I think it's safe to say that JFK and Lee Harvey Oswald were not children.
yes, correct. Yeah, no, so far just one child death. Uh,
Again, we need more.
yeah.
I
We've had multiple fake out child deaths actually. That's crazy. Because Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, it's a fake out child death. We think she gets mauled by that dog and is dead and isn't. Like, yeah,
Yeah. And technically like when a stranger calls back, you think the kids are gonna die, but it's never confirmed whether or not they did. Even
yeah.
though they probably did, but we don't have any confirmation of that fact.
It's crazy that out of 16 movies, we have had three different fake out child deaths. That seems statistically wild.
That yeah, it's something.
It sure is. But yeah, no, that is a solid, I think, first edition of The Cola is very, very good today, slash, not these ants.
I think Not These Ants is a good at least placeholder title. We might find something that fits even better, but I think we can stick with Not These Ants for a while.
I do like not these ants. And I do like both of our picks here. So is there anything else you want to say about ants?
I just I have not been looking at my notes that much, so I just haven't like been like, oh, this was a thing I liked. This was a thing I liked. Uh, the 11th commandment, thou shalt not live in plaster.
That's
Uh,
good. I do like that.
and then when Anthony Fleming comes to Lakewood Manor and he's like, "Oh, would you tell Mrs. Adams Anthony Fleming is here?" And he says it in like such pronounced way when I feel like it was written in a very like passive tone. It's just like, why are you placing so much emphasis on this?
Exactly. One of my notes that we didn't mention, because why would we? So I've been talking about Richard, saying his name. Richard's girlfriend in this movie is named Lynda, which leads me to believe that Twin Peaks: The Return, when the fireman says Richard and Lynda as one of the things for Dale Cooper to remember, is clearly a reference to Ants, 1977.
Clearly.
Yeah, that's one of the like that. This is the cipher that unlocks all of the hidden mysteries at the center of Twin Peaks: The Return.
Twin Pants.
Twin Pants. Yep. Got it in one. Nailed it in one. Fucking home run Eliza over here with Twin Pants. Oh, and that has been our fourth. What did I fucking say earlier? Apron Dennehy. That is our fourth
April Dennehy.
apron Dennehy.
Oh my God.
Dennehy.
Uh, so next week we round out our month dedicated to Mr. Brian Dennehy. May he rest in peace with In Broad Daylight, which is the only leading role of his we have this month, though he has plenty of others that we will talk about in later Brave Rules and
April's Dennehy, like attorneys general.
Brave Rules Dennehy, yes.
I do want to mention though, actually, two things from IMDb before we come out here, and that was one of that reminded me that according to IMDb trivia, this is one of 12 movies and TV appearances that Brian Dennehy had in 1977.
Which
So he was busy.
insane.
And the other one, which is also wild, stuntman Conrad E. Palmisano was buried alive for the film with only a garden hose for him to breathe through. This was only tried once for the film, and he would only do it one time. So they had to get it right the first and only time. It was a very dangerous stunt.
Do you think that the director told him, "Don't move, breathe through the tube"?
Yes, that is great. But what I want to mention, the shot where the guys get buried alive is like such a wide shot that like it could have just been a dummy. You don't need to bury a man alive for your like 2 second shot of some dirt being poured on guys. Like you don't have to go to all that trouble to endanger a man's life for a stunt that doesn't need to be a stunt in the first place. Oh well. Anyway, that's what I just wanted to get that out there because IMDb marked that as helpful. Enough people upvoted that to be the most helpful trivia for this movie, which, okay.
Okay. And just for fun, I decided to look up Brian Dennehy's 1977.
Ooh,
And
yes, I
so
didn't
I
look into
want you
this.
to, on your end, just count how many are listed on Wikipedia. So
Okay,
for movies, he has Looking for Mr. Goodbar and Semi-Tough.
there you go.
For TV movies, which again, lovely that he has that section. He has
It justifies this entire project.
he has Bumpers, Johnny We Hardly Knew Ye, and It Happened at Lakewood Manor, of course, also called Ants.
We're only at 5 so far.
And then for TV series, this is where we add things up. We
Yeah.
have Kojak, Serpico, Lanigan's Rabbi, Policewoman, Lou Grant, MASH, Lucan, and the Fitzpatricks.
That's 13.
That's 13.
Get your fucking numbers right, IMDb.
Bitch.
Yeah. That's it for this episode. Thank you for listening to Televised, the TV movie story Ants.
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 Ants.